Angela Husbands. I am the chair of the project group and trustee of Chiltern Countess. I don't intend to take up too much of your time now, really just to say thank you so much. We are delighted that so many of you have decided to come along and hear about the launch of Chiltern Countess, the work we intend to do. So thank you very much, we do appreciate it. The idea being for today is that you hear a little bit about the work of Chiltern Countess and about conversations around dying generally. We won't take up too much of your time, and then we're going to have an afternoon tea where you'll have the opportunity to chat to us, the trustees, the project board members, and to talk to each other. So without any more ado, I'd like to introduce Countess Elizabeth Howe, who's going to open for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just to echo what Nicholas said, what a wonderful turnout. And it is fantastic to feel that the community wishes to be engaged with what is an extremely exciting project. So I am very honoured to be invited to come take part in the launch today. And I think I'd like to begin by saying that we all need a compass in our lives. Whether we are contemplating imminent end to our lives or not, we need that sense of direction, aiming, as it were, for a North Star, but taking myriad paths to get there, not necessarily going in a straight line, but taking a tack once or twice, and finally reaching our ultimate goal. But Chiltern Countess is filling a significant gap in how we can live our lives well and then die well. As the website says, talking about dying frees you to live your life in the present and to the full. And whether you are fit, young, healthy, or whether you've got the associated complications with older age, the advice you can get from Chiltern Countess is unique. We know that the North Star is, metaphorically speaking, where we're heading, and that it will be the end of our lives. But how we reach that North Star is down to us to make those decisions. They are often very, very difficult decisions, and to have a guide and advice and support in taking those life-changing decisions is invaluable. So, if you're given the diagnosis of a life-limiting illness, it can be a mind-numbing experience. You are left in a state of paralysis, where the fear of the future, the fear of uncertainty, the fear of pain, which will sort of tumble over you like water in an ever-revolving washing machine. The questions are, how do I proceed with my life? There are practicalities, of course, that are pressing issues, like what do I need to prepare for life moving forward and who will take care of me? But then there are those much more difficult questions, such as what really matters? Do I have time for it? And if I have treatment, will that treatment enhance my quality of life? The family, of course, will be feeling equally bereft, with feelings of approaching loss, coupled with how can we make it less bad? How can we talk about it? Whom can we turn to? And it's that phrase, who can we turn to, that is crucial for both patient and family. Not knowing what to do just adds to the stress. Now, the NHS provides extraordinarily good care for those with an end-of-life diagnosis, but inevitably, because funds are limited, that care is principally aimed at the physical needs of a patient. So it's through collaboration with the third sector that holistic support can be given and the quality of life improved. There are huge numbers of fantastic charities operating throughout Buckinghamshire, throughout the country, offering alternative therapies and hospice care and so on. but it's actually the range of advice on those much wider issues that are often lacking. Financial, legal, spiritual, the question of organ donation, the effect on the close family. So to quote the website, death keeps no calendar, and it's a wise man or woman who is prepared. And I think for all of us, it's that balance between how do you prepare for imminent death without appearing that you're writing somebody off. Now, in the case of a life-limiting illness, of course, one of the most frequently asked questions is, how long have I got? And I do remember a young family, contemporaries of my children at school, discovering that their father in his early 40s had a diagnosis of only a few months to live. The family chose to have invasive treatment to try to prolong his life, and he lived for one further year. But sadly, after he died, his widow admitted to me that it might have been better for them all if he had not gone through such invasive treatment for such a long time, with the rapidly deteriorating quality adversely affecting them all. Now, those kind of decisions, you need advice, you need support to make a decision such as that, whether to go for treatment or not. It's not something you can do in isolation. When my mother was diagnosed with cancer, she decided that before the condition became too bad, she wanted to travel out to the Caribbean to see her nieces. Her oncologist was very enlightened and said, absolutely, you must go. And it may have shortened her life by a few months because she delayed her treatment, but she came home with so many wonderful memories and relived them for the months before she died. Now, of course, also there are all sorts of pitfalls that the family can encounter if trying to minimize the complications as you've been told that your life is coming to a close. My uncle drew up a lasting power of attorney for my brother and me to act for him, but he refused to sign it. He kept saying, oh, I'll do it in due course. The result was that age 92 he was taken into hospital, and my brother and I had bills to pay at his home, and we had to go to the hospital to ask him to sign. He was nearly stone deaf, so we had to yell at him in his hospital bed. 2 days later, I received a phone call from the GP who said the police had asked him to ring because the nurse that reported us was suspected coercion. Well now, there's a pitfall one wouldn't normally expect. But we got the power of attorney signed, and we weren't accused of coercion. Now, of course, letting other people know where you keep important information is absolutely crucial, whether it's your will or financial information. Just recently, a volunteer finance trustee who was treasurer of a number of local charities, he died suddenly, and no one knew where he kept the documents and what passwords he'd used and so on. Well, we have had the world's old chase trying to convince the bank that we can access certain documentation. So do bear in mind that somebody else needs to know some of those very secret things. Now, we all know that it is very difficult to talk about impending death to someone who is reaching the end of their life, whether it's old age or whether illness. But if you've got something constructive that you can offer, it is often easier to help. To be able to signpost someone, for example, to Chiltern Countess, which provides, as it does, a comprehensive, joined-up kind of thinking, is truly wonderful. We are incredibly lucky to have such compassionate and passionate volunteers who are willing to use their expertise to help others in time of need. And I'd like to pay tribute to the vision of Dr. Chris Foote and the rest of his team for setting up this charity. They rightly identified a gap in patient care, which the NHS was unable to provide, and they have invested the time and the effort and thought how best to address these issues. And the result, Chiltern Countess, is an invaluable support tool for us all. So my appeal to you today is to encourage you to put the name of Chiltern Countess out into the community, to act as ambassadors for its work. I'd also urge you to encourage associated organisations to join the Chiltern Countess network so that we can have as comprehensive a cover as possible. And I would also encourage you to have those all-important conversations with your nearest and dearest. If you can, have these conversations before you are in failing health. It's much more difficult when you're struggling with your own health. Use the excellent website. I don't know how many of you will have accessed Chiltern Countess website, but it really is very good. Use that excellent website to help you navigate the issues and to find some direction. In it you'll find advice and guidance to help you plan for the rest of your life. And I'm definitely going home to have those all-important conversations with my family. So what is so remarkable about this is that the services of this charity are offered completely free of charge to those who need it. Nobody will be barred from accessing the services of this charity through lack of funds. But of course there are associated costs that the charity has to cover. So if you feel that Chiltern Countess has offered you or your clients a useful service, then donations of course would be very readily received. Sponsorship of Chiltern Countess has been secured for a further year, but if there is anybody here who would like to become a sponsor or knows someone to whom they could make an approach, this would help ensure the sustainability of Chiltern Countess going forward. So today, we can celebrate the launch of this invaluable organisation. We can thank its founders and recognise its significant achievements so far. So go out and publicise its remarkable contribution to living well and leaving well.
For me, I really just want to start by saying how delighted I am that you're all here. Thank you to Countess Howe. We do appreciate you coming along for our official launch. This project was born out of a very strong sense of wanting to do something for our local community in dealing with the inevitable. We're all going to die sometime, and a lot of people find it extremely helpful and settling to know what might be expected and to what plans we can put in place for that time to make things easier both for ourselves, our families and those who might care for us. Our charity board, our trustees and our project board, who I'm sure you'll get to have a chat with over afternoon tea, are drawn from the local medical community. Some are retired, some are current clinicians, and the spiritual community. So these are people who know very well how important these conversations are. From my point of view, there are two people that I would like to thank in particular as part of this launch. The first is Dr. Joe Withers. Joe, without you, Chiltern Countess wouldn't have found its true north, I don't think. Joe, for those of you who don't know, ran a very similar organisation called Finity, which ran very successfully in the Missenden area for a number of years. Jo passed on the torch of affinity to Chris Foot about 3 years ago, and with it the roadmap for what I hope Chiltern Compass is becoming and will become. We do hope that through Chiltern Compass, Phyllis's legacy can live on, so thank you for that. The second thank you that I would personally like to make is to Chris Foot. I've known Chris for a number of years now, initially through his wife, Nata, standing at the back there, with whom you have the afternoon tea today. Nata and I worked together for a number of years when I worked at the surgery where she was a GP. And for many years, she has been telling me about Chris's passion for encouraging this local community conversation about dying. We all have our drums to bang in life, and I think this is certainly Chris's. I really hope that now it is such a topical and relevant conversation that we can make a true success of Chiltern Compass. Chris, your passion, I hope today, has finally become a reality, and I really hope that our fellow trustees and project board members will do it justice. So thank you.